After seeing that top 4 match against the game's greatest player, Tord Reklev, I can't wait to see what he's cooked up here for this final mirror match.
Yeah, he is a great player. He had a lot of success in the senior division, and he had a little bit of a layover when trying to transform all of that into a Masters division play. We're now seeing he's got the talent. He's got the ability to do this, and maybe this is the right deck for him. This is terrifying, though. We know how important this matchup is for Screamtail, and both players are going to prize it here to start things off.
Oh my goodness, we have not even gotten into the nitty-gritty of the deck, the matchup, the archetype. Both of these players on Gardevoird EX. Similar lists, but lots of key cards that are different. One that is the same, both playing a singular copy of Screamtail, a massive strategy in this matchup, and both of these players are going to have to make adjustments immediately on the first turn before the first deck search has even happened. This is going to be a wild game 1, Kyle.
We've seen this match play out before. We saw in the top 4, it was just Screamtail back and forth, removing Monkey Dory, trying to prevent the fact that Adrenabrain is one of the most powerful abilities in the game. Neither player with access to that. This is so dangerous and so exciting here, Chip.
The handshake extended, the cards being drawn. We're getting into game 1 of our Masters Finals. Give it up, folks. Isaiah Bradner kicking things off, draw for turn, starting that Monkey Dory. His key adjustment for this event, playing 4 Monkey Dory, 4 Darkness Energy, something we have not seen from the Gardevoird deck before.
Yeah, such an important card for so many different matchups. Not only are you moving damage counters off of your side of the board, you're attacking your opponent with those damage counters. You're building up unique knockouts, and that's why he's made some interesting changes to his deck. We do not see Drifloon this time around. A really big focus on attacking with Gardevoird, Screamtail, even the Monkey Dory at times, to just set up unique situations that he can take advantage of.
Right away in Riley's active spot, we see one of the key cards for him in this mirror match, something that he has in his list that Isaiah is not playing this weekend, the brand new Shaman from Destined Rivals with that really strong Flower Curtain ability.
Yeah, this is a great way to prevent the Screamtail on the other side of the board while you get to take advantage of the fact that you can remove Monkey Dory. The problem that we see now, though, both players don't have access to that card. Shaman's just sitting there as just a fodder for a little while until both players start attacking.
Yeah, Riley doesn't know. Of course, Isaiah has prized the Screamtail. Isaiah doesn't even know yet. He has not searched his deck, but Riley is finding out the news on his side of the table that that is not something he will have as an option, at least until he starts taking some KOs. Regardless, though, I think that Shaman was probably going to come into play at some point in this matchup. Screamtail targeting Monkey Dory is such a big deal, and really this matchup does revolve so heavily around Monkey Dory and its Adrenabrain ability.
Yeah, we see so often, it's very important to find those Darkness Energy for the Monkey Dory. If you can play those down, not have to worry about where they are, you have access to Adrenabrain for many turns. We know Isaiah has taken some precautions. He's added that technical machine to accelerate these energies, find them earlier on, but the important thing you need first is a bit of a setup, which we don't see just yet.
Isaiah was not, of course, able to play a supporter. You can't play a supporter on your first turn when going first in the Pokemon trading card game, so we'll have to see what else he has waiting in that hand. In the meantime, though, Riley is starting off very nicely, Earthen Vessel discarding a Psychic Energy. A very important thing to do with the Gardevoird EX deck. Getting those energy cards into the discard pile enables your Psychic Embrace later on in the game.
Yeah, to see that opening Psychic Energy is very important. To also add those to the hand, and now you're just left wondering, is there any other way to discard these energies? Ultra Ball, Secret Box, Professor's Research, any of those pieces can be so important to the setup.
And I don't really see much in Riley's hand at the moment. No supporter card, a bunch of energy just searched out off of the Earthen Vessel, and a pass. Let's see if Isaiah has a supporter to combat the slower start on Riley's end.
Yeah, we saw Riley with a calculated play there, had Artisan in the hand, chose not to play that, does not want to give access to Isaiah of any additional help. It's just the singular Ralts. If your opponent doesn't show you anything, don't give them any reason to build on their board.
Isaiah immediately evolving Ralts up into Kirlia. There are rare candies in this list, but oftentimes this mirror match goes a little bit slower. You can take time to manually evolve up into your stage 1, into your stage 2, and of course, if Isaiah finds that technical machine evolution, that can put Gardevoird EX directly into play.
Something you like to see early and often is the Gardevoird, along with those Psychic Energy into the discard pile. We see an Ultra Ball in this hand, so not done just yet, but if there's not a supporter to go along with this, I'm getting a little nervous here.
I think he does have at least a supporter. It looks like this Ultra Ball is going to discard 1. I think there's a pair of Iono in his hand currently. Isaiah going to take a moment and try to strategize things out perfectly. Sure enough, Ultra Ball will discard 2 from the hand in order to search the deck for any Pokemon. And the last 3 cards are 2 Iono and Counter Catcher. Isaiah trying to debate which card is more valuable, that extra Iono or Counter Catcher. Decides to hang on to Counter Catcher. He'll put it on the bottom of the deck shortly with this Iono.
Yeah, I mean, when you see that you're in a mirror match against a player who's already 3-0 in this matchup throughout the course of the tournament, Isaiah only has that 1 win that he received in the top 4 in the mirror. Maybe you understand that you might be down in prize cards at some point in this game, and perhaps you can take advantage of that with a card like Counter Catcher.
Isaiah checking his prize cards gives a nod of the head. Yes, Screamtail is prized, not an attacking option. And looking at Isaiah's list, the amount of options kind of dwindles past the Screamtail. It's really super strong in this matchup and so many matchups. Not having access to it right away could slow Isaiah down big time.
Of course, it's very important for Isaiah to understand exactly what those prize cards are. We'll see a lot of players taking notes throughout the course of the tournament, trying to understand exactly what all of those prizes are. You need to work with every bit of information that you can at this point, and he's getting a good idea of what he's working with.
Isaiah is playing 4 Monkey Dory. That is the big adjustment it seems like his testing group made heading into this event. They've also got 4 Darkness Energy. That's something that players were not playing heading up. They've got Energy Switch. That was included in Isaiah's Stockholm winning regional championship list. Just trying to use Monkey Dory's Adrenabrain as often as possible. And it's so interesting looking at the differences between the way the players have chosen to build their deck lists. It's hard to identify which player has an edge in the matchup. There's some really key things here. Isaiah can use Monkey Dory a bit more aggressively. Riley, of course, has that Shaman. If he can get a Bravery Charm on it, it's really difficult for Isaiah to deal with that Pokemon and target what he wants to on Riley's bench. A lot of nuance here. We'll see how players approach it.
Yeah, and to add to that, Isaiah also has that 1 tech of inclusion of Boss's Orders. We don't often think of that as a tech, but it certainly is in a matchup like this. If you can target down that Shaman, bring it to the active spot, knock it out, then maybe you don't have to worry about that for future turns.
Normally a card not included in Gardevoird. Players usually rely very heavily on Counter Catcher and playing from behind. The fact that Isaiah has Boss's Orders may allow him to be more aggressive at a mid to later point in the game. He will now play Iono, very common card in the current format. Each player will shuffle their hand, put it on the bottom of the deck, and then they draw a number of cards equal to the number of prize cards they have remaining. So early game, like this, it's a nice consistency option. Get yourself 6 fresh cards, a brand new hand to work with, but as the game progresses, Iono's power starts to change, allowing you to disrupt your opponent, send them to a low hand size.
And we'll see this from Isaiah from time to time as well. When he plays Iono, he'll take an additional note of what went to the bottom of the deck so that he can think about what he's drawing into, the percentages that he could see off the top of the deck for later turns to come. And this is an aggressive approach. You've got the energies. You might as well put some damage on this Pokemon that's very threatening to you on the other side.
Mind Bend from Monkey Dory, 60 damage, and it confuses the opponent's active Pokemon. Just 20 HP remaining on the Shaman. That sets it up to potentially be KO'd with an Adrenabrain later, unless Riley can find his own Monkey Dory this turn in a Darkness Energy. And speaking of Darkness Energy, if he has the out to Monkey Dory, he'll be able to get that Darkness Energy right now from this Earthen Vessel.
Yeah, this is a great find once more. It seems like both players running into different sides of the deck. Isaiah with all of the Pokemon, Riley with all of the energy. He's running a little bit short, but this new hand from Iono seems to have rejuvenated him a little bit. Plenty of item cards to help along the way, and here is Monkey along with the Dark Energy.
Right away, Monkey Dory comes down, and the Technical Machine Evolution, that TM tool card, will allow Riley to evolve these 2 Ralts up into Kirlia, but not before using Adrenabrain. Now, the damage placement here is kind of interesting, right? Riley wants to move the damage off of the Shaman, but it's pretty reasonable to expect that Isaiah will just ping-pong it back over to Riley's side next turn.
Yeah, there's 4 different Dark Energy in the deck. If Isaiah finds any one of those and attaches it to Monkey Dory, we will see that thrown right back to the other side, and this is a fantastic turn for Riley. Of course, he'd love to have seen it on the opening turn, did not have the resources. Iono draws him into the right spot. Now he has double Kirlia. He's prepared for a Gardevoird on the following turn with all those Psychic Energy.
After Riley opened up without a supporter, I'm sure he was thankful to receive the Iono from Isaiah. Now over to Isaiah's turn. After a quick shuffle of the deck, we'll see if he can get into a Gardevoird. There is a world where this turn he could knock out the Shaman. It would involve him using his Energy Switch, so it seems pretty unlikely. He'll start things off now with Professor's Research, discarding the hand to draw 7 new cards.
Wow, look at this. That's pretty fantastic. The one issue he had was he didn't have access to many Psychic Energies, but he's got Ultra Ball with double Psychic Energy ready to go. That will find Gardevoird EX here.
Can get the Gardevoird established, but I don't know if Isaiah is actually that pressured to put the Gardevoird into play right now. It might be worth just establishing now that you know you have the resources to do so, so that those cards don't go to the bottom whenever your opponent Ionos you potentially next turn. Both of these lists, of course, playing 4 copies of the Iono. Very reasonable to expect to be disrupted.
Still a great find. Plenty of energies to work with now. As you mentioned, you don't need Gardevoird. You have energy in play to attack with Munkidori.
Yes.
You feel safe with that Pokemon here. And maybe that leads to slowing down. You can just continue to spread damage, put your opponent in a spot where they're confused and have to come up with a different game plan, promoting a Pokemon that isn't ready to attack in a spot like this. And it's just moments like that that make you feel a little bit better in this matchup.
With only 1 Darkness Energy in play, that's only 1 Adrenabrain that will be able to be used.
Oh.
Isaiah's actually going to go in with Gardevoird EX, use that as his attacker. Psychic Embrace, bringing 3 energy from the discard pile up to this Gardevoird. It does take 20 damage for each of those attachments, putting it up to 60 damage on it currently. And the Adrenabrain can move the damage off the Munkidori. That could protect it from a Screamtail. Potentially, it can move it off of the Gardevoird. If you're worried about something over on Riley's side, let's see where the damage is going to be removed from and where does Isaiah choose to place it.
I mean, there are so many Psychic Energy in the discard pile for Riley. You have to think if Drifloon were to be a prime play, it'd be into this Gardevoird EX. Maybe you move the damage away from your Munkidori, protect this Pokemon, as he's shown us throughout the course of Top 4 and now. If he removes Munkidori and keeps his, he feels pretty good.
And there we go. That is the first KO of this final match. Isaiah takes the lead. He decides to be the aggressor, taking out Riley's only Munkidori.
Few cards in the hand to work with now, but I'm not seeing the supporter. He's just shaking his head.
Doesn't have anything to work with. Nestball can find Pheasantipity EX. Draw some cards with Flip the Script, as Isaiah did take a KO on the last turn. And that is the Pokemon brought to the front initially, but putting the 2 prize Pokemon in play could play into an easy 2 prizes for Isaiah later down the line.
And every Pokemon established from this point forward that is not Munkidori just is music to Isaiah's ears. It means damage will remain over on Riley's side of the board. He can start to think about multitude of prize cards that he can take, even in the same turn.
The Pheasantipity comes down. Riley does not seem super excited about that. He will get some more cards. He's really forced into this play. There's no Gardevoird, no movement in his hand currently. Flip the Script will allow him to draw 3 after a cut of the deck. Let's see if he can find a supporter, something to work with. Sure, he wouldn't mind an Iono, maybe even an Arven. At minimum, there is an Ultra Ball. He already had an Ultra Ball, though.
Yeah.
Gardevoird can be established. We know Psychic Energy are down.
I think the one thing you could find here, Arven or the Bravery Charm itself would have been a nice find. It gives you access to that Drifloon if you really want to put pressure on this Gardevoird, potentially even knock it out with how many Psychic Energy we've seen so far.
Here comes the Ultra Ball, discarding another Psychic Energy. Technical Machine Evolution, not useful at this point in the game. Riley has already moved past his setup turns. Now it is time to go. And go into Gardevoird EX he will. Bringing that Pokemon into the active spot, evolving. He has Artisan to utilize. This can grab another Munkidori, make up for the one that Isaiah KO'd on the last turn, but I don't think he found a Darkness Energy, did he?
I have not seen it yet, and Gardevoird now starts to look like the best attacker for you in this spot. You could put a ton of damage onto the Gardevoird. The only other option you have is bringing up the Munkidori and trying to use Mind Bend to slow down your opponent, force the retreat.
Yeah.
But I see a world where Isaiah would love that. He could use Munkidori, 60 damage, push 60 over, clean up another Munkidori, and feel very comfortable in this game.
The problem here for Riley as well, with no Bravery Charm and with no Darkness Energy found, Isaiah will be able to take a prize on the Shaman if he wants to this turn. We've talked about how it's a key card. Riley is going to actually go aggressive with the Counter Catcher play, brings up the Munkidori, targeting the Darkness Energy. And this is, I think, what we will expect to see from this Gardevoird mirror. KO the Munkidoris, deal with those Darkness Energy, limit your opponent's access to Adrenabrain as much as possible.
Yeah, the safety of Screamtail was typically the way we see it in this matchup, but obviously the prize cards, the Shaman, so many things to think about. Now you have to go a different route with counter catchers and spreading the damage around. Trying to knock out Munkidoris is very important, and sure enough, another Dark Energy before what looks to be a fresh hand of 7 pretty soon.
Pretty clean turn here from Isaiah. Ultra Ball to discard 2. Darkness Energy can put an energy card onto one of these Munkidori, and Professor's Research discarding a clean hand to draw 7 fresh new cards. We saw Riley react to his prize cards. He was really fishing for that Screamtail. It's a huge benefit to him in this matchup. He'll have free reign to attack Isaiah's board. Isaiah won't have the same because of the Shaman, and it's just a key piece for him in this matchup to not have, really wearing his heart on his sleeve at this time, not happy to see that he did not take it off his prizes.
And as the damage builds up on this side, Isaiah with the second Gardevoird, this is pretty nice to see. Not only do you have the ability to now be a little protected against Iono and a big secret knockout out of nowhere, but you can also retreat between these Pokemon if this is to be your main attacker for a while. And that's good news for Isaiah. 40 damage each time that he retreats. That's just more damage for Munkidori to throw to the other side.
7 clean, fresh new cards off of an empty-handed Professor's Research. There's few things that feel better in the Pokemon TCG than playing out your hand perfectly to get a fresh 7 new cards. 1 Psychic Energy down in the discard pile for Isaiah to play with, decide where he wants to put it from a Psychic Embrace. Does he want to move this Gardevoir out of the active spot? He has Adrenabrain. He can take the KO on the Shaman, or he can set up damage somewhere else. What do you think you'd like to see from Isaiah right now?
I mean, we know how important it is to protect the Munkidori if you can, but taking this prize card means your opponent has access to the counter catcher. You saw one played, you've seen a pretty weak hand on the other side, so if there is a turn to do that, maybe it is here and now.
I wonder if Isaiah was perhaps hoping to find the Screamtail off of that prize card. That would have been a pretty nuts turn.
Ooh.
KO with the Adrenabrain, get rid of the Shaman that protects Riley's board, take the Screamtail, immediately take out whatever else Isaiah wants. Doesn't quite happen. But I like to see him playing to that potential. Even it's not like he was all in on that play happening, but he sequenced it well so that it could have paid off really nicely for him if it had happened.
A 1 in 5, it could have led to a Dark Energy Munkidori, move damage, Screamtail, knock out another Munkidori, and then leave Riley grasping at even more straws, trying to keep up in this game. And he's still got some pretty great answers. He has the Gardevoir fully charged, only 30 damage on this Pokemon. He's got a pretty great hand to work with too now, adding the Dark Energy here. I feel pretty comfortable in this spot, just chipping away at one of the most important Pokemon on the field in that Gardevoir.
It will be a Miracle Force, 190 damage laid into Riley's Gardevoir EX. The draw for turn doesn't yield much. There is another Ultra Ball. Pheasantipity, Flip the Script can be used since Isaiah took a KO during his turn. He didn't take a knockout with an attack. He took a knockout using Adrenabrain. That means Flip the Script is live. Drawing 3 cards.
I don't know if the hand was double Ultra Ball there beforehand, but now he has the counter catcher, which the Shaman was knocked out. He is behind in prizes. Continues to shake his head at this hand, though. I need to just keep targeting down Darkness Munkidori time and time again. It's too good of a resource for you.
I think he was hoping to find an Iono off of the Flip the Script. He does have the research. He will get a fresh hand. And it's really not too bad. Once again, mimicking sort of what Isaiah did. He'll play out his hand completely, get a fresh new hand from the Professor's Research, discarding to draw 7. But the board position here, though these players are kind of matching each other blow for blow, it really seems to favor Isaiah right now.
Yeah, just a lot of damage on that Gardevoir. We know also it's just a limited output from Riley to move damage and push it over from the Gardevoir. He has less Darkness Energies to work with. We've already seen one hit the discard pile. Finding those resources can be tricky here as he now starts to draw through.
7 fresh cards from the research. Let's see what Riley can find. There's no Darkness Energy, but the Night Stretcher can get him there, yes.
It's not the greatest way to use this resource. You have a lot of one-of Pokemon in this list. Often you like to recycle, use Drifloon multiple times if you're attacking into the Gardevoir, but this is a time where this resource is important, and he does play quite a few for moments like this.
And now something Riley also has to consider is, does he value getting the energy back, or does he value getting back the Shaman? Is he scared of the Screamtail from Isaiah?
Well, he hasn't seen it yet, and he sees a lot of energies already committed to a Gardevoir. Yes, it can retreat at some point if you knock out this Munkidori, but he's going to take the risk.
Adrenabrain just too powerful to leave behind, and by not putting a Darkness Energy in play, you set yourself back a turn effectively. If a player in this mirror match ever gets 2 Darkness Energy established into play, that feels like an incredibly strong board state.
Yeah, Isaiah does have one interesting thing he can do in this matchup when he doesn't have access to that. We see the Munkidori fall here, an additional prize now to bring both players to 4 each. But Isaiah does have that one copy of Energy Switch that he bounces around with Munkidori, but you usually wait for the perfect turn.
Isaiah moving up that Gardevoir EX, drawing for turn, has a lot of options to work with, an absolute book of cards in his hand. Would love to get some more Darkness Energy established, at least the one to try to use the Adrenabrain. The Energy Switch play could be live at some point. It wouldn't lead to too much right now. That's what you usually want to see with your Energy Switch play. Take multiple prizes in a single turn, or fully heal a Pokemon that you'd be worried about being KO'd otherwise.
It's a play that he used to win at Stockholm Regional Championship. It's iconic at this point to watch him use this card and find that surprise victory. He's already ahead pretty far in this game. Although the prizes are tied, he's keeping up with the Monkey Dory race. He has that Dark Energy once more. Less damage on his side of the board. Potential for 2 prize cards here as well. Now he just wants to find a couple more resources to solidify that maybe a boss's orders on Pheasantipity is available for the final turn.
Yeah, this game has been made so interesting by the fact that both players have prized Screamtail. And it's not just the fact that it was prized early, it's the fact that both of them have it prized up in their top prize cards. Very unlikely that we're going to see either of them utilizing Screamtail until maybe possibly the last turn if they're able to take an odd prize somewhere along the way. Isaiah does use Night Stretcher, able to bring back either a basic energy or a Pokemon and put it into the hand. Chooses to bring back another Monkey Dory, get it into play, not before playing his supporter, though. Looks like Iono is on the way.
And what a great way to slow down your opponents. Yes, there's already a Pheasantipity there, but this was a big hand for Riley. It goes down to just 4 cards now. We'll see potentially 8 as you add the cards with Pheasantipity in the turn, but it still means he needs to find a lot of help here.
No out to the Pheasantipity right now for Isaiah. Looks like he has Super Rod, another recovery option in his deck, a way he can bring back multiple Monkey Dorian energy as the game continues to progress. Now, Isaiah will be taking a pretty big lead here on the prize race, but he has to be ever so careful to not make his board vulnerable to Riley's different options. And that's one thing about the matchup at this point. Both of these players were on stream yesterday. They've got a great network of friends and testing partners. They surely know each other's 60, almost, if not 100% exactly. So they are totally aware of what each other has access to, which can really change the way you play.
Yeah, it's just the one more counter catcher you would be considering in this spot. We saw 2 earlier on, but taking these prize cards, it's so tempting at this point.
Isaiah has been the aggressor so far, and I think he will feel confident to just take this KO. Sure enough, Miracle Force, down goes Gardevoird EX. 2 prizes for Isaiah, Bravery Charm and that Lily's Clefairy, both taken off the prizes, but Screamtail remains.
Yeah, Screamtail plus Bravery Charm really leads to some interesting plays, potentially game-closing plays on a Pheasantipity. Did not find that combination, instead has a little bit to work with, and now all eyes over to Riley. He has shown us some masterful play here already, but what does he have to work with here?
I don't know if I like this nest ball. I think Riley really would like to play Iono, and he just got Iono'd last turn. And I don't think any Iono were sent to the bottom of the deck. Now, if Iono, it actually does look like one was sent to the bottom of the deck, so that makes this nest ball very, very heads up. Get the Pokemon out you want, shuffle the deck, and then use Flip the Script to try to find Iono. And Drifloon was the Pokemon chosen off of the nest ball. This could be a huge turn for Riley McKay.
See, shuffling option with the Artisan too. Just wanted to use that resource, get it out of the hand, potentially find that pivotal supporter so he can draw a little bit more, but mainly shut down what Isaiah is cooking. If Isaiah has the boss's orders and you play this damage on Drifloon, you're in a lot of trouble.
Flip the Script, draws 3. Does he find an Iono? Yes, he does. Iono will be a disruption play for Riley this turn, putting Isaiah down to just 2 cards. And Isaiah has not gotten his own Pheasantipity established. And also something to note, Isaiah did not knock out a Monkey Dory last turn. Riley can get 2 Monkey Dory established with Darkness Energy on them. He can move around tons of damage this turn.
Well, the considerations for what you do with this last bench spot, considering the Shaman, 2 additional prize cards were taken last turn. Maybe Isaiah found the right resource, wants to bring this Pokemon into play with the Artisan.
Riley's playing as carefully as possible with the stakes as high as they have ever been in his Pokemon career, playing around every possible play Isaiah could have, whether he actually has it or not. Shaman comes down, protecting the bench. No Screamtail damage from Isaiah. Wants to ensure that Flower Curtain protects his board.
Little bit of danger with a Pokemon with this low of hit points. If a Monkey Dory is not knocked out, we could see that Dark Energy in combination with Energy Switch, move all the damage counters to a Shaman, and then knock out the single prize active. We'll see what's left as far as this board state after this Iono, though. And looking for Bravery Charm, you'd assume.
Bravery Charm, and I think a Darkness Energy would be a nice card to add to the hand here as well. And this is where Iono starts to transition from being a consistency card to being disruption. It's providing both here for Riley. 4 fresh new cards, but limits Isaiah to just 2.
Big 4 cards here. Really looking for some help. Dark Energy or Bravery Charm.
There's an Iono.
Miss.
Ultra Ball. Research. I know. Bravery Charm. No Darkness Energy either.
That limits the potential of all these attacks, and he just shakes his head. He can't move this Gardevoird.
This could have been a huge turn for Riley, clearing Isaiah's Gardevoird, leaving him with just 2 cards, putting himself in a winning position. but he whiffs completely off of the Iono. He did draw an Ultra Ball, but he's got 5 Pokemon in play. He can't go get something like the Mew EX to restart.
He arguably put a bunch of bad cards on the bottom of the deck with Iono. That shuffle isn't welcomed either.
There's the Psychic Embrace, 20 damage to the active Monkey Dory. He may be left with only the option to go for the Mind Bend. It doesn't do much in this spot, though. Isaiah can pretty freely just retreat into his other Gardevoird.
And which Pokemon do you feel the most safe with? Do you go with a single prize Pokemon that you can give up, or do you put a ton of hit points in the active spot and hope to hang around?
It looks like it will be Drifloon. Riley is just going to try to throw some damage down onto this active Gardevoird EX. Monkey Dory, Adrenabrain will move the damage. This is an opening, though. Isaiah could win the game this turn. A card we have yet to see, and I don't think it went to the bottom of the deck, is his Boss's Orders. If he finds Boss's Orders right now, that can bring up Pheasantipity EX. And when Isaiah the game, he has the secret box, but he doesn't have enough cards to discard to use it.
He has Arven. If he can find 2 resources, then he can find all the cards off secret box.
Yeah, but then if you're playing Arven, can't play Boss's Orders in the same turn. Counter Catcher's not live.
There's a play then, Chip. If you could find access to the energy and the energy switch, maybe you feel like you could make this happen with the Monkey Dory damage. But do you have enough cards to get that done here? You could use that. You could find with Earthen Vessel, bring those energies back up, fill the board, get the energy over to the Monkey Dory, energy switch to the other one, push 80 damage to the Shaman, and knock out the active. Is it all there?
That's gonna be it. Isaiah has the pieces to close this game out. He's got to sequence it just right. Adrenabrain moves the damage over to the Shaman. Energy switch, Adrenabrain once again, and Gardevoird EX KOs the active. 2-prize turn for Isaiah, and he goes up 1-0 here in Game 1 at NAIC.
Is there anything more iconic than this man and an energy switch? We see it so often. It's such a beautiful way to close out a game. Surprise your opponent with the additional damage. Could not find that Boss's Orders, had almost all the right cards there, but he found another way to get the job done. And on the other side of the table for Riley, he was working tirelessly, trying to find the options, but it seemed like every hand he found, off of a supporter, off of an Iono, a new prize card, nothing was working.
There were real options there for Riley to close out that first game, but the whiff on the Iono to 4 cards, he found nothing really to work with. Let's replay and recap that game number 1. I think the real story here is the fact that neither player had access to their Screamtail.
Yeah, completely flips this game on its head. You have to attack with your Gardevoird in this spot, start to remove Monkey Dory as soon as possible. We saw this Pokemon knocked out very quickly, and for Isaiah, it was a game of stealing prizes when optimal. He already saw multiple counter catchers used in this point of the game. Felt like it was time to put the pedal to the metal. He knocked out the Gardevoird, went down to 2 prize cards remaining, and this was a really big turn for Riley. Needed to find a lot of help.
And he was unable to do so. Isaiah had the game-winning combination. 3 Monkey Dories used all at once through the power of Energy Switch. Really showing off why that card is so good, why he believes in it so much for this archetype.
I mean, he's got Turbo Energize. He can flood the board with Dark Energies. He attaches one every turn, it seems like, but sometimes you need just a little help from your friends. He preaches it a lot. He's got a lot of great people helping him to get to this point, and he's looking for one more win here to become the international champion.
Riley will have the option to choose to go first or second here. Most players we see choosing to go second in this format, in this mirror match, just with this deck in general. Riley got to go second in game number 1. It didn't work out for him. I don't think he'll waver from that game plan, though.
Yeah, you know what you like to do. Both these players undefeated in the mirror going to this point. And now it comes down to the hands, the prizes. What do we have here?
Nest Ball from Isaiah Bradner on the lead of the Monkey Dory. He has a Ralts from the hand already put into play. Now Nest Ball searches the deck for any basic Pokemon, putting it down. No Screamtail prize for Isaiah this time, but 1 Gardevoird EX, a Bravery Charm, Super Rod, and 2 Psychic Energies could make it a little difficult and awkward to get those cards into the discard pile early in the game.
Yeah, often looking for those energies as soon as you can, using all of the discard ways that you have, the Ultra Ball, the Secret Box, the Research, something to move them. If you have them in the prize cards, you won't see them, but at the bottom of the prizes, likely we'll run into those as soon as he starts taking some knockouts.
Isaiah taking his time to check the prize cards, such a key thing to know in this deck, and really in the competitive Pokemon TCG at this point. It's such high stakes, so much on the line right now. Making a mistake later in the game where you play an Ultra Ball looking for a Pokemon, hoping that it's there, and what do you know, it's prized. You don't want to look silly. He's going to make sure he double checks and knows exactly what he won't have access to.
Yeah, a little more good information this time around as far as what he saw last game. He's got the Screamtail, maybe an opportunity to use this Pokemon before the Shaman.
Yeah.
Still has that boss's orders, so plenty of unique cards to help out in this matchup in particular.
Now, this is a pretty good setup for Isaiah going first. He's able to get a couple of Ralts established. This can lead nicely into a Technical Machine Evolution next turn. We could see the aggressive Rare Candy Gardevoird if he lucks into that. And he even has another Nest Ball, perhaps to get another Monkey Dory down.
They're the most important Pokemon for him at this point. You find them, you load them up either with the Evolution or the Dark Energy, helping out and whatever you can do, just get a little bit of a board setup. And you're just waiting to see what Riley has now. If he has the Technical Machine Evolution and those Pokemon, it gets a little dangerous.
Sure enough, Nest Ball finds a Monkey Dory, Adrenabrain, one of the most powerful abilities in the format. And I think it's safe to call Monkey Dory probably just the best singular card in the format. We see it utilized in so many different decks.
Yeah, it was the Radiant Greninja that we saw of last year. This Pokemon taking its place, and you don't need additional cards, just throw additional damage. It's so beneficial. We see decks that have no business playing Dark Energy or Luminous, sneaking it in, and a great spot here is for Gardevoird.
Pass of the turn over to Riley McKay. Let's see if he can lead off his turn one with a supporter this time.
Buddy.
I don't know if he has one. He at least has the Buddy Buddy Poffin. He'll be able to find himself a pair of Ralts or any Pokemon with 70 hit points or less. Another difference between the lists here, Riley does play Badoo, something Isaiah does not have. We didn't see him go with that route in game one, so I wouldn't expect to see him change that in this second one.
Yeah, pretty weak Pokemon in this matchup from time to time. Your opponent typically is already trying to use Technical Machine Evolution and accelerate that way, not super reliant on those item cards. And the 30 hit points, you're asking for a free prize from Monkey Dory at a really inopportune time.
And looking at the prize cards, quite a few supporters, a pair of energy just like Isaiah, and that Pheasantipity. That was what provided Riley with a lot of potential in game number one. It didn't come to fruition for him, but it was still such an important piece to keep him in that game and really give him a chance. He now doesn't have it for game two, being down already at the final match.
Yeah, if you've only watched NAICs and you've seen Gardevoird, it looks a lot different. Refinement was drawing out of all of these issues throughout all the Ionos before, and now you see it's going to run into some trouble. If you don't have Pheasantipity access to that card, you're not drawing after knockouts, you're not refilling your hand and finding the right resources. It means you have to rely on cards like Artisan or using your Gardevoird. This is a lot of awkwardness here for Riley.
And I think we are seeing a pivot from Riley, and this could be a leak to the strength of his hand. If he doesn't have much, he may feel like he needs to buy a little bit of time. The Badoo is brought down for him off of the Buddy Buddy Poffin. Itchy Pollen, of course, will mean that on Isaiah's next turn, he's unable to play any item cards from his hand. Is this a desperation move from Riley, just trying to slow Isaiah down in any way that he can?
I mean, when your opponent asks how many cards are in your hand, like we saw here, it means one of two things. Either I need to think about locking this hand down, or I need to move this hand and use an Iono. I don't think we're seeing Iono right now. So locking out the hand, maybe avoiding some of those item cards, that might buy him some time.
Yeah, and off the check right there, Riley just checked all of his supporters in the deck right now. 4 Research, 2 Iono, and an Arven. In his prize cards, 2 Iono and an Arven. That means he does not have a supporter for turn right now.
All of them just waiting, hopefully for Riley's sake, at the top of the deck so he can find some help and get out of this mess. He's got the Itchy Pollen. He can slow things down for a little while, but it really only takes 1 or 2 cards from Isaiah to make this thing pretty tough to come back from.
So we will see a surprise pivot of strategy. Itchy Pollen used, puts a damage counter into play for Isaiah to Adrenabrain potentially, but it will try to slow the start for Isaiah. Let's look at his hand. Does he have a supporter? No, he doesn't have too much going on. He does at least have Technical Machine Evolution, but he doesn't have any energy cards.
Would you risk it?
He could thin the hand down here, Kyle. He could put the Technical Machine Evo in play. He could put down the Artisan and then bench Mew, restart, draw 2 cards. And is he going to go for it? Artisan will be used first, searching the deck for any basic Pokemon that does not have a rule box, put it into play, probably establishing that third Monkey Dory. We've seen that be a really important strategy for Isaiah. Just get a bunch of Monkey Dory in play, try to use Adrenabrain, try to get ahead on the Darkness Energy attachments as well.
And we know that it's not your favorite Pokemon here. An EX Pokemon, low hit points, walks right into a Gardevoird knockout, Screamtail issues, but Mew EX sometimes is the bailout button of choice. Restart, filling the hand only to 3 cards. But if it finds an energy here, it is pretty nice.
That would be really strong, especially if it is a darkness energy. Draws. There is a psychic at minimum and an Iono. That could bail him out, but why play the Iono when Riley didn't do much on his turn?
There is nothing to expect on the other side from Riley. Just the evolution of the Kirlia Artisan to try to find some more Pokemon. Maybe shuffle the deck, thin another card out. But we should be expecting Itchy Pollen from this point. Riley at least doing himself a favor here, finding the Shaman to protect a little bit. If he ever were to take a knockout, Screamtail could come flying in.
Yeah. Isaiah board locked at the moment, but just thinking ahead for Riley and really thinning the deck as well at this point. Every single card that you can get out of your deck to increase your % chance to draw a supporter is so helpful in spots like this. Just an Itchy Pollen once again, 10 more damage laid onto Monkey Dory. Draw for turn on Isaiah's side. The game has really slowed down for both players. Isaiah not having much in the discard pile, no energy cards to use Psychic Embrace.
Yeah, this is the problem for Isaiah. He's trying to find ways to maybe manufacture some damage onto his side of the board. When you're item locked against Badoo, most of your ways of discarding energies are gone.
If he has an energy in hand, he actually could retreat to the Kirlia and go for Magical Shot. 30 damage, and it would KO this active Badoo, but no. He will just retreat into Monkey Dory and pass.
A slow approach, but understandably so. He has Iono, does not want to play it. He's waiting for the turns to ease up. Doesn't have Dark Energy to move damage around, but might as well let Itchy Pollen build up, and he'll have some damage to work with.
And there we go. Riley was able to find Professor's Research on the top deck, discards the hand to draw 7 fresh cards while also putting a Screamtail into play. And Gardevoird EX is found. Does have a Psychic Energy in the discard pile. Does not have a way to discard another one, though. He has a Darkness Energy, so he can attack with the Monkey Dory if he wants to, but that isn't really going to get him very far.
Yep, maybe you lose your Itchy Pollen at that point, and that's the one thing slowing Isaiah down. He also now saw that you have a fresh hand. Isaiah is welcome to play that Iono and try to find the cards for himself. Riley only has that 1 Psychic Energy. You cannot do that much with it. You're certainly not taking a knockout here.
Ultra Ball played, discards an Artisan at this point, a unuseful card since Isaiah has put an Artisan in play. That's the only stadium either player has. You can't put a stadium in play to counter one that has the same name, so feel free to discard that. On the Ultra Ball, Lily's Clefairy EX goes down. A very powerful card in the Gardevoird deck for the Dragapult matchup. Not super good here in this mirror. So happy to get rid of that as well, especially when it's in favor of getting Gardevoird EX into play, and Itchy Pollen will be the move of choice once again. 10 damage laid down over to Isaiah, no items able to be played.
35 minutes remaining here. We are in game number 2 with Isaiah up 1-0. And he feels comfortable. He's playing the Iono. He's looking for some help. If he can find some Psychic Energies for the discard chip, we're looking at trouble.
Drawing 6 fresh cards. Ultra Ball, unfortunately, unable to be played, and no Psychic Energy were found off of the Iono. No way to get an attachment. Just a pass over to Riley. Draws for turn. What a slow early game here for Isaiah.
Yeah, he finally finds the research, it looked like, but no energies to discard for the following turn. We know 2 Psychic Energy are prized, and now Riley eyeing up a great play with that Earthen Vessel. Energy to the discard pile, multiple to come into the hand here too. Does he have a way to discard these?
And if he does, that will mean that Screamtail can pretty easily be powered up. Riley will start to be able to go on the offensive. He'll be able to target down Pokemon like the Monkey Dory over on Isaiah's side, be it the active, be it the bench. Take those out. Maybe get rid of a Kirlia before it boosts up to having a lot of hit points. You're not as worried about the Monkey Dories right now with no Darkness Energy on them.
Yeah, and Riley does have the Dark Energy for his Monkey Dory, which leads to one of the more unique plays we see that's specifically used for this mirror, using 3 Psychic Embrace onto a Screamtail and only moving 10 damage from a Monkey Dory leaves your Screamtail out of range of a KO from a returning Adrenabrain while also putting on a lot of pressure.
Plenty of energy cards in the discard pile after that Earthen Vessel and Research play. Psychic Embrace used to put 3 energy onto Screamtail, putting 60 damage on it, meaning that Roaring Scream can deal 120 damage to Isaiah's board however he would like, but not before moving that 1 damage counter, just as you mentioned, put it on a Monkey Dory. This takes that Screamtail out of range of that Adrenabrain on the next turn, as you pointed out, and now Roaring Scream will deal 100 damage to anything. Now, what do you KO for Riley? Generally, yes, you go after the Monkey Dories. I kind of like the idea of getting rid of Curlia here.
Yeah, it doesn't feel too bad. The problem that we have here in Riley's list is targeting down that Gardevoird later on would be really tricky. No boss's orders for him. He's up in the prizes, so finding a counter catcher turn doesn't work out too well. He's going to go with that tried and true plan of taking out Adrenabrains.
Goodbye, Monkey Dory. Draw for turn for Isaiah. He's got the Artisan in play, so he can freely replace that Monkey Dory with another one. That's right, 4 copies in the list.
Hello.
Has it in the hand. No reason to go in with the Artisan. If Isaiah wanted to shuffle the deck first, Artisan could be an option, if he knows the cards on the bottom from something like an Iono, the one he played on the last turn. But he knows there were no energy there, and he'll play an Iono now, shuffling both players' hands, putting them on the bottom.
Yeah, this is a very big 6 here for Isaiah. He's down a prize card now, wants to keep up in the exchange, and he needs Psychic Energy quickly. Okay. He finds Earthen Vessel. Is there a way to discard even further?
Oh, there isn't.
Next turn.
He's got the Earthen Vessel in Research, but he's already played a supporter. He did not find something like Ultra Ball. He did not find Secret Box. Those could have been ways for him to go offensive here, or just drawing Earthen Vessel plus energy cards. He drew 2 Darkness Energy, but no Psychic Energy. He can start to attack this turn. He could KO the Screamtail with Monkey Dory. That may be the route he has to go.
Yeah, he puts on a little bit of pressure, removes his Pokemon. He has a little damage to play with, too.
Now, some people may look at this and say, oh, you can KO the Badoo and KO the active. Take a 2-prize turn, but that would turn on Riley's counter catchers. Isaiah not going to play into that, wisely choosing to place that damage onto Shaman instead. Yes. That Badoo is really one of the things that I think is good for Isaiah here. The fact that Riley has that in play, that will be a free prize card for him at some point in the game if he wants it.
And it also fills up the bench for opportunities to add on and find another Monkey Dory, another Screamtail. When you have Shaman and Badoo in play with a board like this, if you ignore Gardevoird and Curlia for the rest of the game, Riley always has to make a choice.
And now Riley has Secret Box in his hand, the A-spec of choice for these Gardevoird players. You can discard 3 cards from your hand and then search your deck for one of each of the different types of trainers. 1 item card, 1 tool card, 1 stadium, 1 supporter. So this opens up so many possibilities for what Riley can do right now.
Isaiah, he'd like to have one of those for himself. He's just been missing out on the ways to discard energy. The Secret Box now can find some help. It's not like he needs too much in this point in time. He's already looking pretty ahead on the board. He's got the Monkey Dory that he wants to knock out sitting in the active spot for him. It's a pretty good place to be.
Yeah, don't have to go with a Screamtail. You can save it for later. This could be a nice window to actually go in with your Gardevoird EX right now. Push it up while it's got a ton of hit points. Riley will find 4 different cards off of the box, one of them being Iono. First, we'll use that Earthen Vessel to discard Artisan, finds another Darkness Energy. A pair of them, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, basically thinning at this point. The only important thing he needed was a Dark Energy. Artisan's already established. He can find second Monkey Dory if he wants to go this route. Fully load up a Gardevoird, move damage counters around, and really put on a ton of pressure.
And he can take the 30 off of the Shaman as well to protect it from Adrenabrain. Double Adrenabrain play from Isaiah, which we know could happen at any time with that energy switch.
A lot to play around, a lot to think about. That is what Gardevoird mirrors are all about, and this is a great setup from Riley. He's got it all, and he's got a little bit of help with that Iono now. Limiting the hand from Isaiah, he finally had Earthen Vessel and Research, and here it goes.
Yep, all to the bottom. The good news for Isaiah, you got to think at this point he would find some energy cards. It's been a drought for him all game, but the deck has not been shuffled, so there's a decent shot he should be able to find some here from 5 cards. Both players able to draw 5 off this Iono.
Yeah, Isaiah knows the bottom like 12 cards of his deck at this
point.
He has not had a shuffle effect post Iono for a few turns now. So he might know what he's drawing into here pretty soon, or what his chances are from the top of the deck. Riley
will get Gardevoird EX powered up using Psychic Embrace. It does have 60 damage on it. There we go. A couple of Monkey Dory to be used. There is a discussion here about should he fully heal the Gardevoird, take all the damage off of it, or will he value protecting Shaman?
Well, only in a turn where Shaman is very important would I see you have to do that, as maybe your opponent's going to incorporate the Screamtail and take a big knockout, maybe take away your Monkey Dory. So if he's threatened by that, certainly it makes sense.
This game is A completely different story from game one. In that first game, it was a bit more back and forth, but it felt like Isaiah was in control, in the driver's seat through most of that game. Right now, it feels like the opposite side of that coin. Riley the one pushing the advantage. The double Darkness Energy, the double Monkey Dory, and the Gardevoird EX swinging into the active spot, taking a KO. Riley ahead. 2 prizes to 1.
And it all comes down to where are the dark energies. If Riley has 2, Isaiah has 0. He is losing this fight right now, and it's thanks to Itchy Pollen. It came in at the perfect time, slowing things down, and Isaiah's deck does not have a way to handle a Gardevoird EX right now. He has to incorporate a ton of psychic energies right now onto the board and maybe even attack with Gardevoird, but he hasn't even shown an ability to do that.
Isaiah pushes Mew EX to the active spot. One of the great attributes of this card is the fact that it does have free retreat, gives you a bit of a pivot in addition to that excellent restart ability in order to provide some draw out of disruption later in the game. Isaiah plays Professor's Research. Only 1 psychic energy goes down. A couple of Ultra Ball as well. That's some of the ways that Isaiah could discard energy off the other side of this research. Let's see if he was able to find any more.
I mean, this is a calculated play. He didn't play the Ultra Ball because he didn't want to shuffle the deck, and it works perfectly for him. He finds an Earthen Vessel. He's rewarded with the energies here now, but does he have one more way to discard? If he has that secret box here, that's exactly what you're looking for.
Secret box would be really strong, allowing Isaiah to get those cards into the discard pile, but also setting up his hand and potentially his board for whatever play he may want to go for.
Are you going back in?
Thinning out his deck as well. 2 psychic energy added to the hand.
Riley would love for Isaiah to not go back into the deck as he asked that question.
Yep.
And he's going to get some bad news.
Sure enough, that pink card waiting in the hand. Isaiah responding to Riley's secret box on the previous turn with one of his own. At least 2 psychic energy going down alongside another Earthen Vessel. Isaiah didn't need to thin anything else out. He may actually not have any other energy left in the deck. And Secret Box finds an item card, Pokemon Tool Card, Supporter, and Stadium. We do see that Technical Machine Turbo Energize. I actually feel like there is an opportunity in this matchup for a player to go that route.
Yeah.
It's a little late in the game right now. I think it would have been cool to see come up. It's a really unique tech card for the deck this weekend. Probably not going to be seeing it this turn, though.
Well, if things go Riley's way, maybe a game 3, but we'll have to wait and see. For Isaiah, more important to see that energy switch, an opportunity to move multiple damage counters away if he needs to, start to aim up a knockout, but it seems like he would still be a little short here if he has to go the Gardevoird route.
It cannot quite get there. If he moves over 60, then the Gardevoir's got 220. He doesn't have a Drifloon in his deck. He can't swing for those numbers. He could use Lily's Clefairy, I guess, technically. That actually would be a way for him to take 2 prizes here.
Yeah.
But I don't know that that would be worthwhile. I don't think he needs to go that aggressive right now. But, I mean, something to note for a potential future turn.
Yep. Any way to reach for the KO. Isaiah, he felt that he did not need Drifloon this time around. And he's going to go with the heavy hit points of the Gardevoird here.
Psychic Embrace 2 times, 40 damage onto it. Needs 1 more energy to be able to start attacking. Adrenabrain heals 30 from the Kirlia. Will ping-pong that damage over to the other side, placing it onto the active Gardevoird EX. Energy switch moves the Darkness Energy. Another Monkey Dory can be used. Isaiah can fully heal this Kirlia, take it out of range if he wants to, from Riley being able to double Adrenabrain.
And the safe spot for the Gardevoird is to have the 30 damage removed at this point in time. There's only the 2 Monkey Dory. Looks like a KO is not happening this turn, and Riley doesn't have the reach to go for a 3rd Monkey Dory here.
Isaiah debating where to move this damage. He's actually going to move it, it looks like, off of the Gardevoird EX. This does mean that Riley has an opening to use 2 Adrenabrains and KO the Kirlia on the bench for a pretty easy prize card.
Yeah, it's a spot he has to think about because the Gardevoird would be knocked out by a return Miracle Force this time around. If you move enough damage over, you're in trouble. He has to protect that big Pokemon there instead of the Kirlia. A little bit of a weakness, but this is what you're working with here. Pretty solid turn, all in all, for Isaiah after struggling through Itchy Pollen.
Tons of dice on that Gardevoird EX. Only 30 hit points remaining, and a draw for the turn on Riley's side. This play from Isaiah does leave Riley locked with the board. It means there's no possibility of Drifloon or Screamtail coming out. Riley will basically be forced to attack with a Gardevoird EX this turn.
When they count the deck, you start to get nervous. What can Riley reach for at this point? He wants the Bravery Charm. He wants to protect some hit points on his side of the board. Is he nervous about losing a Pokemon like that Badoo, or does he want to protect something that may be an attacker here?
I think if Isaiah had not used his energy switch, you'd really want to protect the Shaman, but now that the energy switch is down, there's not a realistic threat of the Shaman going down next turn, or really at any turn in the game, as long as Riley prevents Isaiah from ever getting to the point where he has 3 Darkness Energy onto 3 Monkey Dory.
With this full bench, you're just limited with the amount of attackers that you have. He's going to move the damage over with the Adrenabrains, take that prize card on the Curlia. And what's left for this turn?
Takes a KO, takes a prize card, a Psychic Energy being found. He's up 3 prize cards to Isaiah having only taken 1. There's a ton of damage in play. This is still a really close one, Kyle.
And you have the additional energy, can retreat to another Gardevoird EX, continue to play this game, show off that you've got more hit points than them, and you are protected because of the Guard of Shaman.
He will for sure have those energy. He can retreat 2 off the active. He just discarded 1 from the Ultra Ball. I believe that energy is what he took off his prize card as well. So that mid-turn prize paying off potentially very nicely. Adding a Ralts to the hand, this can replace something that gets KO'd in the future. He will use the Bravery Charm to protect the Badoo. That was something that we were talking about. Could be an easy prize for Isaiah at any point that he wants it. Now boosted up to 80 hit points. Not something that Isaiah will be able to reach for. And Riley will just attack with this active Gardevoird EX, conceding, recognizing, hey, this is going to get KO'd, but I'm going to capitalize on the damage that it can output while I can. Earthen Vessel from Isaiah discards that Artisan. Once again, not useful at this point in the game. Finds another Darkness Energy. This is a chance for Isaiah to get 2 into play. 2 Darkness on 2 Monkey Dory. That'll be a lot of damage to play with.
Yeah, not enough to take a knockout before attacking, but certainly helpful in setting up for something in the future, and especially healing off your Gardevoird at this point. If you don't want this Pokemon removed, it seems like it's going to be pretty pivotal to your strategy at some point here. You need to protect it, move it to the bench. Hopefully you don't see any Screamtail on the other side of the board, and maybe that means you don't take a knockout, but how do you do that?
Artisan used, searching the deck for any basic Pokemon. Could see that Screamtail come into play just to get it out of the deck. Another Ralts still remains as well, so that will be the choice. Isaiah could potentially establish another Gardevoird in the future if he needs to. He actually did need to find a Ralts this turn, as this active Gardevoird will almost certainly be KO'd.
Yeah, maybe positions in this game now to use Monkey Dory as an attacker. I would try to avoid one without the Dark Energy if you could. He's eyeing up the counter catcher, moving the game plan over. If you can target Monkey Dory a little more, then you start to feel better.
This could be an interesting play. If Riley only has the 1 Psychic Energy in the discard pile, Isaiah could go this route to try to slow things down and just hit into the Gardevoird for a bunch of damage. But no, he will choose to take out this Monkey Dory, not before Adrenabrain puts 60 damage onto Gardevoird EX. It puts it in range of being KO'd next turn, and this KO will get rid of one of the Monkey Dory, one of the ways that Riley has to heal that Pokemon.
Well, this is a big risk, but understandably so. For Isaiah, he's leaving one of the most important Pokemon in the active spot here, but he has done a great job. He's knocked out a Monkey Dory. Only 30 damage right now could be moved off of this Gardevoird that is at risk. 2 big prize cards for Isaiah. It is all up to Riley now. Find a Dark Energy and a Monkey Dory and save this Gardevoird.
He has the Artisan. That can get back Monkey Dory if there's one still remaining in the deck. We know at least the one in the discard pile. There may have already been another one KO'd as well. There is the Darkness Energy in hand. There's an Earthen Vessel. Let's see, Monkey Dory, is it in the deck or not? Not too many cards still remaining, and I don't think I see one. There is a Night Stretcher, though. Night Stretcher can bring back the Monkey Dory, put it into play, attach the Darkness Energy, take care of this Gardevoird on the bench, heal it up a bit. This is feeling decent now for Riley.
And you start to think, what could this mean? If Riley's able to find a way to close this game out, we are going pretty low on the clock here. 18 minutes remains in this Masters Finals for these players.
About 7 cards remaining in the deck, it looks like, for Riley. Not safe to play a Research. Does have that Darkness Energy. Looks like a rare candy in the hand. There is an Iono. But if he plays the Iono, that would send the Darkness Energy to the bottom. So it makes it awkward for him to try to find a Monkey Dory play right now. Has Isaiah found a way to slow this down and try to swing this game back into his favor?
The cards just aren't lining up, and I mean, we talked about it. After a knockout, do you have Pheasantipity to rebuild your hand? This board doesn't do that, and he had it prized, went the Badoo strategy. It was so helpful in the early game, but now we see Riley struggling a bit. Dark Energy established on the Gardevoird now. That's 20 less damage you're taking from Psychic Embrace.
And this means that Isaiah will more than likely be able to KO the Gardevoird EX on Riley's bench on the next turn with Adrenabrain. Riley does find that rescue stretcher. He can get back maybe the Screamtail here, and that will be the choice that would allow him to target one of those Monkey Dory in play.
Yeah, it's a nice find here. The Night Stretcher takes that Pokemon and he's going to bring up the Gardevoird with all of the hit points. Just 30 hit points remaining. Monkey Dory could save 30 of those and push them over. But how much damage do you want to leave on the board here for your opposing Monkey Dory when you don't even see a Gardevoird in play next turn? Potentially.
Yeah, may just put it all on the active, even though it's already getting KO'd. Don't give Isaiah more damage to play with. Looks like Riley will not be taking out a Monkey Dory here. That does give Isaiah the opportunity to establish 3 Monkey Dory into play now. But off of the Iono here, the big question will be, can Isaiah make a Gardevoird EX? With this one going down, he'll be forced to find Rare Candy, Gardevoird, and he'll need to find an attacker as well to go with, or just go in with a Gardevoird EX if he can make it.
We'll see some of the damage still left in play, but not enough for the Gardevoird to worry.
I think Isaiah has a Gardevoird EX in the middle of his prize cards, so he could take the 50-50 gamble here if he finds Rare Candy, which he did. If he uses the Adrenabrains, but no, he can't.
He doesn't have enough damage.
He doesn't have enough damage, no, and he's going to concede. Isaiah cannot win this game. He's going to send us to a Game 3. Riley McKay has tied us up.
Masterful play on the other side from Riley, making sure that he had just enough to withstand what Isaiah could throw at him. He had a ton of hit points to work with. He used that Gardevoird to full effect, and he found a great point there to step on the gas. Put Isaiah in a tough spot. He had the rare candies, but no Gardevoird. And we're moving to Game 3 here, Chip. We have 15 minutes remaining for a Gardevoird mirror to win NAIC.
Boy. 15 minutes, not a lot of time. Most of these games last 30, 40 minutes at times. It may be enough for us to get into a reasonable +3 turn situation where a player can naturally win the game on the 3rd turn. Let's get into a replay of that game too. And one thing I do want to talk about here, Kyle, and kind of question, is the early game decision of Isaiah. He had Iono. He knew Riley didn't have much, but Isaiah didn't have anything either. He held off on playing the supporter. What do you think of it?
Yeah, it slowed him down a lot. He was unable to find any energies, and knowing that you already have 2 Psychic Energy prize, I think you desperately have to think about yourself in this situation. Try to draw into as many of those resources as you can. Load up the Monkey Dory. We see here, this is when it hurts. 2 Dark Energy Monkey Dory for Riley, just a single one for Isaiah. He finally finds the right pieces here to try to come back, and it's just not enough.
Game 3 about to start. The winner of this will be the North American International Champion. Let's hear it for the competitors, folks. One more game to decide who is going to come away with the gold. And in this game, Isaiah had the option, 1st or 2nd. He chooses 1st. Riley attaches for the turn onto the Ralts. I don't see a supporter, but I think he has the Buddy Buddy Poffin, choosing not to play it, just a pass.
I don't know if you saw what I saw. I saw at least 3 Psychic Energy in that hand, and the rest was a little scary. A TM Evolution. Not sure if we saw the rest of the pieces. For Isaiah, he has the supporter in that Arven. He is cooking here. That is all you need to see.
This could be the game. This could be the time for us to see the technical machine turbo energize. If Isaiah can get enough Pokemon into play, enough Monkey Dory to get a bunch of energy cards down, he can start to threaten so many options with Adrenabrain in future turns. Now, the other thing to consider is, do you value evolving a bit more?
Yeah, we saw Riley, he took a very concerted approach. He didn't use the Buddy Buddy Poffin. He knows he's not playing against Badoo on the other side. He does have that TM Evolution. So we will see a setup from Riley. It may not have a supporter to go along with it. But for Isaiah, he has a decision to make. Do you want to focus on Monkey Dory or Curlia? You have 12 minutes right now.
Checking of the prize cards for Isaiah, 1 TM Evolution in the prizes, 1 Monkey Dory. Normally you would look at those things and be a little worried, but Isaiah does have 2 Evolution. He does have 4 Monkey Dory. Won't be too big of a deal. A couple of Ultra Ball being prized could make for some awkward scenarios of struggling to discard energy, struggling to find a Gardevoird EX. All things will track as this game progresses. Only 12 minutes left now, Kyle.
And, I mean, a double-edged sword here in your active Pokemon. That Mew EX can be so helpful to help refresh your hand a little bit, have that free retreat to work with in the beginning of the game as you're setting up. But we know you're playing against Riley. You might be going to time. With 180 hit points sitting there, that's pretty dangerous.
Checking of the prize cards quickly for Isaiah. You got to consider the time as a factor. We know checking prize cards is a big deal in the Pokemon TCG, but sometimes I wonder if in these situations, it's really worth it to be fully thorough. Is the clock more valuable than the knowledge you gain?
I mean, it's going to come down to one player being called turn 0. We know that that is not what you want to hear, as you want to be turn 3. Riley wants to be turn 4. We've seen that a few times now.
Looks like a nest ball being found, another one being played. Arvin, I'm not sure which tool card was grabbed, Evolution or Turbo Energize. It will be Evolution, and immediately Monkey Dory will evolve up the benched Ralts into a Curlia, threatening for a turn 2 Gardevoird EX.
Yeah, pressure on the Ralts already. Feels the urge to retreat potentially, but Riley has to focus on his own setup, and this is where it gets a little tricky. He has TM Evolution, he has Buddy Poffin, but he's likely losing a really quick prize card here.
Over to Riley, we know that he's got a pretty decent hand, at least with that Buddy Poffin. No, it isn't. Is there an evolution? There is the evolution, okay. So
He found a 4th energy.
he can at least get some Curlias into play, but he doesn't have a supporter.
The next card was Iono. He's just thinking what could have been there.
Yeah, you're always playing this Buddy Poffin. It's not worth really worrying about that too much. I feel like Riley should know that. Yeah, Buddy Poffin, too valuable to play right now. Get a few Pokemon into play. Looking at the prize cards, there is that secret box being prized for Riley. That could limit him a bit.
I mean, even the Earthen Vessel, we see 4 energy in the hand. We're thinking about ways to discard energies. If he doesn't have the right supporter to go along with this, it's just manual retreats to find energy for the discard pile and try to get any attacks later on.
One thing to note here is also that Lily's Clefairy. Now, it's not normally an attacker you use in this matchup, but it is a way for you to do a bunch of damage with a Pokemon that has a good amount of hit points, especially with a Bravery Charm. And that's a situation we could see come up in this specific scenario once we get into +3 turns.
Right, when you're reaching for that last knockout, trying to close out the game, if you are turn 3, if you can reach for that Lily's Clefairy or a Gardevoird, just try to put as much damage as you can onto the active, because you know if they're trying to not lose the game, they're going to have a ton of hit points in the active spot.
Isaiah does have Gardevoird EX in hand, can get the turn 2 EX into play, but will he be able to discard enough energy cards to use Psychic Embrace to get an attacker? It will have to be on the other end of this Iono if he does.
The 2 Ultra Ball in the prize cards have me thinking this could be dangerous. He's looking for help,
There's
but
another
he finds
Ultra Ball,
an Ultra
one
Ball.
Psychic Energy,
2
and another.
Psychic.
But is there another one in the discard pile? I don't think so. At minimum here, he can go in with the active Monkey Dory. He can go for Mind Bend with Adrenabrain. He'll be able to put the damage counter on the Ralts. He'll be able to take the prize. Does he want to be the aggressor here, though?
I think you have to in this spot. Just continue to put pressure on, see what you can do, take some prize cards, see if you can find some help. The problem he has in his hand now is he found too many supporter. He can't even use his Mew to restart and find a little more help.
He could use Screamtail here to KO a Curlia from the bench. Psychic Embrace, put an energy on the active, retreat it to the bench, Adrenabrain, put that damage counter or 2 onto the Curlia, then use Roaring Scream, 80 damage anywhere you would like, KO one of those Curlia.
It looks pretty good to me. Riley has not shown very much just yet, and this Pokemon is so important, especially when you have not seen the Shaman.
There it is, Psychic Embrace, 20 damage onto that Monkey Dory. Roaring Scream powered up, Adrenabrain being used. Only 1 Psychic Energy in the discard pile for Riley, but he does have a brand new hand to work with. Riley didn't have too much. Now he'll be given that gift of the extra card. Isaiah will move the 1 damage counter to the Curlia, takes the KO, and takes the lead here in Game 3, getting himself 1 prize card closer to becoming the North American International Champion. But I have to say, Kyle, the hand looks decent for Riley off Iono. I see energies, I see Earthen Vessel.
Oh, Ultra Ball 2, there's a Gardevoird, there's a ton of energy. This could get messy here.
Kind of wild that Riley actually drew that many energy cards when so many were in his hand.
Right, it's pretty wild to see here, but he's found a pretty great answer. 7 minutes remaining, down a prize card. That opens up some windows too here.
One of those energy in hand is a Darkness Energy. We'll see if he can get a Monkey Dory in the mix early on here. There is an Ultra Ball to discard those energy cards, as mentioned. Does need a Gardevoird. Is he going to risk it and get Monkey Dory? No, it will be Gardevoird EX.
It still is an option to go his own Screamtail route and target Monkey Dory. If he finds his own counter catcher here, he could use that too. It's very important to remove this Pokemon from play. We saw Isaiah really values it and the damage on it by leaving that 10 extra damage on it to move around for a future turn.
Gardevoird EX grabbed, immediately evolved, able to throw as many energy in play really as Riley would like. Has lots of different options, lots of things to play with, and Iono will be the supporter for turn. Both players shuffling, putting the hands on the bottom. Isaiah gets 5. Riley will get the full 6.
Yeah, plenty that could be seen here. Artisan, Dark Energy, additional Nest Ball, some help here to fill the board up and find those great resources. He's not seeing it just yet.
There's the Pheasantipity. That could be good later. A couple of Nest Ball.
Okay.
That does give him the option to go with a Scream Tail here if he would like. Maybe take out the Monkey Dory right away, but without his own Monkey Dory, he won't be able to protect it from being hit with an Adrenabrain. The Bravery Charm could get in the mix, though. Maybe that's the move for Riley.
Yeah, the safety of using that Bravery Charm right here now seems pretty optimal. It's unlikely you would see Isaiah have the reach in this spot if you remove the Monkey Dory from play. It lines up pretty well, especially when you have 4 Psychic Energy to roll with here.
Off the Nest Ball, Scream Tail comes down. Roaring Scream, of course, dealing 20 damage to your opponent's Pokemon wherever you would like it for each damage counter on the Scream Tail. You can load that up with the Psychic Embrace. Such a strong combo of cards. Bravery Charm will be attached, retreating the active Ralts now. That adds another Psychic Energy to the discard pile. And Roaring Scream will more than likely target the Monkey Dory. Riley will tie us up here in our third and final game with under 5 minutes to go.
He's got the energies, he's got the attack. Does not have an answer directly to this Scream Tail he's staring at in the face. And for Isaiah, that just means reestablish Monkey Dory, play a Dark Energy, and you're in the same position you were on the previous turn. We'll see if he can find that, at least keep up in this race. If you have the lone Monkey Dory, you feel like you're ahead.
A pretty strong card there. Riley just took off his prizes. Secret box over on Isaiah's side. There is the Monkey Dory. There is the Darkness Energy. Professor's Research also in the hand. Able Isaiah to dump the hand, draw 7 more. And that will be the play. Discarding the Lily's Clefairy, discards the Psychic Energy. Down goes Artisan as well, not wanting to give Riley access to it.
Yeah, you have not seen the best setup on the other side. It is a ton of energy and Gardevoird, but no reach for other Pokemon. After the Scream Tail's knocked out, Riley reliant on finding cards like the Night Stretcher to help out and bring that Pokemon right back into the mix.
Isaiah was able to draw into another Ralts. Be nice to get established, start trying to get up into another Gardevoird. He also has another Monkey Dory. Now, his Gardevoird is not really in risk of going down. I guess there is a world where Riley could do some crazy stuff with Counter Catcher, Bravery Charm, Drifloon, and deal with that Pokemon. So will Isaiah respect that potential and put down the Ralts? The answer is yes.
I mean, if there's ever a world, it's when you draw the secret box out of your prize cards. It finds almost all of those pieces for you. If you have one of them, you have the rest. 5 energies to work with there, too. Have to play it safe here and bench the Ralts.
Roaring Scream, 80 damage to the active Scream Tail. Perfect math. That is a KO. Isaiah's board looking much better, and he has the prize advantage heading into the final turns of the game. Draw now from Riley after the promote of Gardevoird EX. We know Secret Box was frowned off the prizes. There is the Pheasantipity EX as well. I don't think he's going to put that in play. He knows of Isaiah's boss's orders. That's an easy 2 prize cards in the future.
2.5 minutes remaining. You need to think of every potential prize card you can give to your opponent here and avoid that at all costs. Secret Box, so beneficial. Do you hold on to the Fez just in case for that final turn? And he's not going to risk it.
If it does come up, Riley knows he at least will have options to get it back via Night Stretcher if he ever needs to reach a little bit farther. And I think with this lineup, we'll see Professor's Research more than likely discarding the hand. Fez was going down regardless.
Okay, this lines up fairly well then. Has the Earthen Vessel to search even further. The Artisan, this starts to lean a little more towards the reestablishment of Monkey Dory this time. You don't need to do anything too fancy. And if Iono can find him some help, that Night Stretcher, he probably feels pretty great here.
Nest Ball from Riley brings down a Monkey Dory. Artisan into play can bring down another. Normally, you want to be very picky and choosy of when Artisan comes down. This is a perfect time for Riley when Isaiah's already got a pretty full board of Monkey Dory. Earthen Vessel finds a Darkness Energy, finds a basic Psychic as well, gets rid of that Iono. Riley thinning the deck as much as possible here, perhaps preparing for the situation we find ourselves barreling towards faster than ever, just a minute now.
I mean, Riley's setting up for a pretty great turn. If he finds a little help here, then Artisan can find him the other piece. You're looking for the Shaman, also the Night Stretcher. If you have these in combination, you knock out the Monkey Dory, you leave a Scream Tail in the active spot that can't target the bench, and you're already tied on prize cards. You can do this in 45 seconds and maybe not be turn 0.
There is the Monkey Dory. Time is winding down. Artisan could find that Shaman now. Did he find the Night Stretcher to bring back Screamtail? That is the missing piece, it seems. Artisan used. 30 seconds left. Shaman hits the board. Is there a Night Stretcher? Riley shuffles quickly, quickly, quickly.
Oh, it's so close. It comes down to every last second here at this point. He's moving quickly. He's moving up the Monkey Dory in this spot. Oh, it's going to come down to when this promotion
Literal
is, Chip. We're right
seconds.
here.
There we are. Mind Bend will take the KO on this active Screamtail. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the Adrenabrain. That means time will be called here. Riley was so close to avoiding this turn 0, but things slowed down for him now. And this is a huge advantage for Isaiah.
It's everything. We saw how important it can be. Now, of course, Riley can think his way out of these situations. Sometimes you come up with the perfect plan, but can he do it back to back here?
And for those unaware, the way time works in our final match, these players will now play 3 additional turns. The turn that just completed was turn 0. Isaiah gets turn 1, Riley gets turn 2, Isaiah gets turn 3. Now, if neither player wins the game during those 3 turns in a natural way, taking all their prize cards, knocking out their opponent's only Pokemon in play, that means that whoever is ahead on prize cards at the end of turn 3 will win this game and become our champion. And if we find ourselves in the situation where the players are tied on prize cards at the end of those 3 turns, we continue play until either player is ahead of the other on remaining prize cards. This situation favors Isaiah massively, as he is guaranteed to get turn 3.
You always want the last chance, the last opportunity. Can he hit what he needs here? He's got another Dark Energy, a Monkey Dory. He's got the Gardevoird in the active. That's going to be a few more damage counters placed on the board so he can retreat this Pokemon and work with the damage. He's going to try to line up a play where he has taken more prize cards and avoids walking into maybe that counter catcher. You just have to time it out perfectly.
Ultra Ball gets another energy down. There goes the Turbo Energize as well. We never saw that come up. Isaiah able to find any Pokemon he would like. The Ralts just evolved up into Curlia, I believe, so Gardevoird EX cannot come down just yet. It will be another Ralts added to the hand, perhaps thinning the deck, perhaps wanting to get that into play. I feel like another Monkey Dory could be strong as well. Isaiah playing the 4 Darkness Energy and the 4 Monkey Dory just because of how powerful they are in his deck and specifically in this matchup as well. There is an Iono, both players shuffling their hands. Down to the bottom they go, 4 cards for each.
And Riley has no way to draw back up from this spot. We did not see the Pheasantipity. It'd be Night Stretcher if a knockout were to happen here. Isaiah, he's going to take his time, think about what could happen here. He also has a way to draw a little more with Restart if they aren't great, but it's a lot of supporters so far.
There's his boss's orders. That could be a really good option to try to push for the game on turn 3 of time.
We know how important it can be with taking out a 2-prize Pokemon. If you are down a prize,
checking every single resource, wanting to see what his opponent has available. A bunch of energy cards in the discard pile.
What is that, 4 Psychic Energy to work with at this point?
There is a Night Stretcher. Here comes Monkey Dory. The 3rd one into play. Does a Darkness Energy accompany it?
I believe he's already played Energy for the turn, but Energy Switch would still be an option if he wanted to really dig deep here.
Yeah, not necessary maybe on this turn, but it will be a strong option on the next potentially. 40 damage to the active from a pair of Psychic Embrace. Can play with that damage, move it over however he'd like. With the Adrenabrain, this is going to be so close, Kyle.
So much to think of here. How do you manipulate this board state specifically to help out? He's got an EX Pokemon in the active spot. Does he feel comfortable leaving this Pokemon here? You just Iona'd your opponent down to 4. Maybe the Drifloon plays aren't all there. It's a risk.
He's going to put all the damage onto this Ralts. Riley has already discarded at least 1 rare candy, I believe. We know that both Curlia were in play. Isaiah takes the 1 prize on the active, sets up some damage onto the Ralts on the bench, takes the KO, puts himself ahead in the prize trade, and Riley is entering turn 2, which could possibly be his final turn. and he'll have to sit back and watch and hope Isaiah does not have it. Now, this is eerily similar to the situation Riley found himself in yesterday in top 4. He was turn 2 of time when Tord Reklev had the game-winning play on turn 3, and he found the crazy pass play that we did not expect, big-brained it out of nowhere. What will he be able to cook up in this situation?
Well, he's trying to preserve the hit points as best as possible. Bravery
That's
Charm
huge.
onto the Ralts to save it from Adrenabrain KO. He's got a lot of hit points in the active with the Gardevoird, and now he's just trying to piece together what is the most important thing here. Can you take the knockout? You need to stay in the prize race. This Gardevoird is active. Countercatcher would help you take 1 prize. Drifloon would help you take 2, but then you're walking into some issues, and this is what you're looking for. Countercatcher on the Mew. You know it's a problem. 150 is easy to clear up.
And this is the Pokemon Isaiah started at the beginning of this game. The only basic Pokemon in his opening hand, a 2-prize Pokemon that will allow Riley to jump ahead here and force Isaiah to find an answer. Iono to play as well. Isaiah only going to have 3 cards. Riley with 4.
And it's Boss's orders. Let's move to the bottom of the deck here for Isaiah. That was one pivotal piece here that could have won him the game on turn 3.
Riley found the darkness energy off of Iono. He can move all of the damage off of this Ralts, and that will mean that Isaiah cannot reach for a KO even with a triple Adrenabrain.
There's so much to consider here. Riley has to determine what's the safest line. He's moving the damage. He wants no damage on board, and this is also beautiful. 3 energy stuck on the Gardevoird.
Takes the KO. Wait, but there is still 30 on the Ralts. Not quite taking the KO yet. Still thinking through. I think only 1 Adrenabrain being used. Still has the other one. No, just the KO. Takes out the Mew EX. Riley jumps ahead on prizes. Isaiah needs to take 1 to tie things up, force Riley to take another turn, or he needs to take 2 this turn to win the game. He has Pheasantipity EX.
He has Dark Energy to go along with this, too. How many Psychic Energy can he see in the discard pile?
Earthen Vessel will search the deck for 2 energy cards, can find the Darkness Energy. That will mean he has 3 Monkey Dory established. That's 90 damage he can place wherever he would like. There is 90 HP remaining on the benched Ralts.
He only has the Psychic Embraces available here. 4 Psychic Embrace potentially if he can have all of those in the discard pile. That's 80 damage he can move over to try to work in the knockout. Does he have the cards?
That would KO the Shaman. Shaman only with 80 hit points. That would be a way he could reach, but can he KO the active Gardevoird EX? He may be able to just reach for the KO on this active Pokemon.
I mean, he would have it. He would have it. It's 4 Psychic Energy. It's for Psychic Embrace, 80 damage. You push it all over to the active, and Gardevoird deals 190, but he just needs to find out if he can put all these energies in the discard pile now.
I don't think that's going to be possible. 3 energy are locked up on the benched Gardevoird right now.
If he has, 7 in the deck, and he can search out a couple, Pheasantipity might be able to take him the rest of the way.
What a close spot that Isaiah's in right now. Pheasantipity will certainly be a part of this game plan. No, it's going to be discarded with the Ultra Ball.
Looking for some more help. He finds
another Gardevoird. Does he think he can't win this turn? Isaiah doesn't think he can win. He's going to just fully heal this active Gardevoird, leave himself with no damage. He knows his opponent doesn't have Boss's orders. Is that the move?
Oh, he's going to take the 2 damage, move it over. He's got 2 more to work with. He's got the Psychic Embraces. He just needs to attach the Dark Energy here, and he should be able to make this happen.
That's going to be it. The next Adrenabrain, perfect math. Isaiah takes the KO, and he is the North American International Champion.
Sometimes